Thank you. So today it's I try to explain of this some work of this team labs, and as we are like art collectives, and it's using of the digital and technology, and it's making the output. It's very weird ones, and we started on 2001, but from that times we are try to create something's output. It's researching of this new relationship between human and the world. And this is our exhibitions with museums in Tokyo. It's called the teamLab borderless. It's this 10,000 square meters, like very weird digital museums. Is the old artworks? It's not stuck on in one rooms or it's one walls. They're always moving. You are go inside what is now our creativities, and it's just move around. It's the whole space, and it's artworks is also it's like communications each other's. So it's never happened at the same, and its concept is like in a borderless because it's things, and it's another one. It's like another one is in our another museums in Tokyo. It's called the teamLab Planets. It's what is this? It's like 13,000 livings orchid, and it's filled up of the rooms, and they are livings. So it's and it's filled up. So it's when you're inside of this space, it's first you feel it's you cannot enter because it's completely filled up. But when you are close to them, the orchid is going up and it try to make a space, and you can walk inside it freely. And we made it's like a very weird, it's like an object with like a moss gardens, and we try to create all these gardens like in the middle of the Tokyo's. And it's this is very famous of this some other our digital creations. It's like night times. It's we are using all the lights, and if you touch it, like interactivity, so it's going to be changed by it's you or some other people, but you're in the same place. It's not VRs or ARs. It's in the physical space. You're going to be in with other peoples. That is what we wanted to do. Actually, it's you can see it's this is can be famous of this like very like anonymous number of its lights. And this is also, it's like you're going to be inside of the waters, and it's in the waters, there is a lot of the koi. It means like some fish. And if you touch them, so it's they're going to be in the flowers, or it's you're going to be in the like domes, universe of these flowers. And it's completely like immersive this experience. Sometimes we are using of these spheres, like they are like moving around. It's a freely. And it's you're gonna touch, and it's you're gonna change the color and its sound. But anyway, it's what we wanted to do is for us is digital and technology is just only the materials and it's tools, and we have some kind of strong visions we love to explain. And that is, something it's we really wanted to do that in like through it's in our output, and it's maybe it's today's is I would love to talk about it's culture and the heritage. Another one it's like quite famous. It's like Japanese, like I don't know the reason why, but we love tea, and it's quite weird tea. It's called a matcha, and there is so many rules, and it's my family is actually. Tea ceremony families, but it's like this tea is our artworks is just exists inside the teacup. It's when the people it's like serve the tea inside the teacup, the artwork is gonna showing up. But when you try to drink, the flower is gonna stuck on the tables and it's gonna disappear. And when you drink of this whole tea, it's our artworks is also gone because it's our artworks it just only exists inside the tea. And also like we made weird it's a restaurant in Tokyo's, and this is just only the eighth seat for the per night. And we are using of the Japanese like traditional ceramics, and it's Japanese ceramics is they try to bring some nature like an essence to be inside of it, ceramic like a fish and stuff. And it's what is digital is we try to free from this material to be on like creativity itself. So like for example like this, when you serve some meat or it's a food cuisines, some like essence or it's the motifs of its cuisines gonna showing up on the tables, and you're gonna share with other peoples. And this like a ceramic and stuff is also there is so many like long histories. I think it's and the food too. It's and I think in Italy and Firenze is like so many like cultures, food, and it's and it's buildings and it's for the nature and the stuff. And that's what I really wanted to talk about today is we are making of this like a very weird, it's a project, it's called Digitized Natures. And it's our work compare with it's like a fine art. It's I can compare with light is like a paint and like a canvas is everywhere. So this one is we made in like middle of nowheres in south part of Japan, and it's 500,000 square meters, and it's daytimes it's like very long history like forest and some kind of gardens, some 300, 400 years ago people made. And it's right now, we try to create all these like a big forest as canvas and try to make it in museums. And then people are walking around it's in this forest freely. And you try to be one part of it that. And what we have interest is some things it's nature made or human made, and some kind of it's an output. Like this is a caves made by its natures, and it's some like a tea house is made by its humans, and it's some gardens is made by the humans, artificials like this pond too. But each era, this one is almost 1,000 years old, but each era there was it's some crazy but genius and wonderful peoples try to create some things on that eras. And they had some kind of visions and they had some kind of meanings for it that societies. And they try to show something for it that times peoples and it's for the futures. And these things is, like we call the heritage. And it's the heritage is we cannot buy it. It's even if you paid for it, like 1 billion US dollars or whatever. And the heritage in some things, it's like our humans and it's our ancestors and it's our mother Earth made it some things. And it's what we wanted to do is we try to live with this like heritage and try to focus on this, this kind of energy and the powers. And especially what we are creating, it's, as I said, it's a light. So we don't destroy all this nature itself, but we can transform to the something completely. And this is same place of this that south part of Japan. There is very famous of this spa and onsens, and we try to create of this saunas and it's a spa. But it's after that, it's that you're gonna try to see of this some artworks. It's when you're refresh of this your feelings and it's mindset, and maybe it's like this is kind of this like miracles at today's I'm talking right now, and as we are connecting right now, is if you think about like this 1,000, 2,000 years in a human history, or it's in a history of this earth, and it's real livings on very tiny, tiny existence, but some like the small stuff is realized us of this, some that miracles, and that is something we want to do. And it's we made on in the natures, and it's we try to create something on in the city also. And this one is we made on in Singapore's and on in the buildings. And this is like the city itself is going to be like canvas. It is not like movies, and it's people are download all these like applications, and it's quite hard to read. But the application on that, there is a kanji. It's like Asian or it's Japanese calligraphies characters. Like if you touch all this is the flowers, and if you just swipe, the flower gonna showing up on in the buildings. And it's this like project that what we want to do is like the people living in the cities is try to change and create of the city itself with other peoples, and that is something that but it's not necessary of the city itself, because with it we don't paint on in the building and stuff, and this is just on the like the light. Of course, it's you can see just on in night times, but daytimes you're going to see it's a lot of its beautiful things. And night times it's going to be some different space for it in our museums. And what we made in the end is this one is in this summers we made something on in Toji. Is it's very beautiful. It's Buddhism temples in Kyoto. They had it's like 1,200 years histories. It's the most of the buildings it's like they made on 1,200 years ago, and still and we try to it's made them as like canvas, and it's not like collaborate with it's their philosophy, and it's some kind of a heritage. I said it's they had it's some many cultures, and it's each like era. Each buildings made on like 400 years ago, 600 years ago, or it's 100 years ago, and each buildings and it's each architecture has some kind of meanings, and if we try to it's like the focusing of that kind of heritage, the power of this heritage, and it's that is like what we wanted to do, and it's I very much believe of it. Firenze is like it, more than in the Tokyo, we have just a couple hundred years history, but Firenze is like worldwide people knows of its the histories and the cultures, and it's that self it has power to like grab the peoples, and it's what we can do is some or it's the technology can do is some kind of it's that kind of essence try to make it expand, and I try to make it transform to the difference its meanings on today's, but not destroy of that. That is something it's maybe we can do on today's. It's not only one answers, but it can be one of the answers. That is what I wanted to say. And we have one more. It's in a exhibition. It's we can do, but it's you can check on in the Google's and please check it out. This.